Good morning. Can we just get the indication how many councillors is in that we can start our meeting?
Good morning, Madam Speaker and all councillors and colleagues present. There are currently 30 councillors in the meeting.
So we are a quorum. We can start our meeting because it's 11 o'clock. Karina, can you please put the agenda on for us?
I will do so, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Is it all this, Good morning, councillors. Can we start our meeting?
Yes, Speaker.
Yes, Speaker.
It's 11 o'clock. I would like to say welcome to all of you this morning here. And I praise God that we can say good morning to each and every one. I trust that your families are well at home, you are well at home, and that we must be very careful. But before we start with the opening, it's a pleasure to ask this morning for Councillor Rosette de Tooit if she will open with a prayer for us. Councillor de Tooit.
Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. But my religion doesn't allow me to do a prayer when there's males in the same meeting.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I'm going to ask for Councillor Wilskut. Will you do us the honor to open with a prayer, Councillor Wilskut?
Sekerlik, Speaker.
Thank you.
Kom, laat ons bid. Ons dank U, liewe God en Hemelse Vader, vir krag, genade en sterkte. Ons dank U, Vader, vir 'n tydperk wat U vir ons gedraai het, onbekend tot ons. Dank U, Vader, vir hierdie vergadering. Ons wil U vra dat U met ons moet wees, dat hierdie vergadering moet salf met die seëninge wat U vir ons instoor het. Vader, gaan ook met elke een wat teenwoordig is, ook verder naby in Jesus naam se wil. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor. I think I must say it to Councillor Wilskut wasn't here, but the virtual meetings, everything will be in English. Is that fine with you, Councillor Wilskut?
It's fine, Speaker.
But we accept your prayer. Thank you for that. And before we go to point 2, I want to say to all councillors, just to notify the office of the mayor and the speaker, if there's any change in your email addresses, it is very important for the purpose of the invitation of the council meeting and other communications. Expect to Ms. Smith as well. Is that fine with you? So that we can all be on one platform. Thank you, councillors. Then we can go to point number 2. That's not necessary. I am well here today, and I thank God for you for that. We go to point number 3. Disclosure of any direct or indirect interest by councillors and or officials, councillors. As you all know of and aware of, I'm pleading, and I said to the chief whip that maybe he and the other whips of the parties must come together and see that this point number 3 must be discussed so that we can have closure on this point. So please, Councillor, I've got the names here, but I think the Mayor will talk about later on about that. Then we move to point number C4, applications for leave of absence. Chief Whip.
Good morning, Speaker, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, all councillors present, all the officials. Good morning to you all. Speaker, we've received one apology, and that was from Councillor Stein. We have to attend university today. Then I've received a WhatsApp from Councillor Linda Landu this morning that she will not be attending council meeting. I've asked her that she need to submit in writing in terms of the rules of order, and either to myself or to you, I haven't received anything from her in writing. Therefore, I can't accept the apology of Councillor Landu until we get that written apology. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Chief Whip, any other apologies?
Madam Speaker.
Yes, boy.
Hi, Madam Speaker, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Surviving, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I don't know. I was just struggling a little bit to get in. I don't know who Chief Whip, which apologies that he rendered for the ANC. I'm having a couple here by me.
Councillor, before council started, I think we said it a few times before that we must see that all the apologies must get in writing to the Chief Whip. But go on, let we hear.
Hence, I'm asking Alogutu. I was struggling before you start, you know. So I just want to check with did he submit it, because comrades were saying that they are sending for him. I'm just asking Kuti, which ones does he have, you know? Okay, let me just read the ones that I'm having, but they promised to me to send for him.
Okay.
But for the record, Mama, is Councillor Colin that is struggling. He will join us late if he comes right. The computer is struggling with the computer. Colin Rents. You hear me, Madam Speaker?
Yes, I'm with you.
Colin Rents is Councillor Andile Shibili, is Councillor Jonari, is Councillor Van Rooyen, is Councillor Zoleka. She was saying that she's struggling as well, you know. So I'm just adding. I'm not sure did they send already to the Chief Whip, but they promised that they are going to send it to Chief Whip. And the last one is Councillor John Skirman. He's struggling with the laptop, something like that, but he's busy trying to fix it. If it fixed there, he will join us as well. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope that they send it through to the Chief Whip. Thank you very much.
Thank
of
you.
The council.
Chief Whip, your hand was up.
Thank you, Speaker. Just for the record, I haven't received any apology except the ones which I have mentioned to you, Speaker. The only one was Councillor Stein, the rest, and then Councillor Landu, which I've indicated to you. Otherwise, I haven't received any.
Okay, then we continue. Councillor Boy, you've got your answer.
Correct, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Then is there anybody that wants to say something?
Yes. Hello, Speaker.
Hello.
This is Councillor Masoka and Councillor Cyril Magazana who are participating in the meeting together.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Then we move to point number 6.
Speaker.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Speaker, I will be out of the meeting by 1 o'clock because since the coronavirus, I'm taking the child to school. So if it's passed by 1 o'clock, I'll be excuse myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Can we then move on? Then we are on point number 5, statement and communication by the Speaker.
Aye.
Karina? Can you just put that up?
Madam Mayor, it should be on the screen. Is it not there? Madam Speaker.
Thank you. It's only halfway on the screen, Karina. Okay. Dear Honorable Executive Mayor, Honorable Deputy Executive Mayor, Honorable Mayoral Committee members, Honorable Chief Whip and members of Council, Municipal Manager, Executive Directors of the different departments, officials of the different departments, I would like to ask everybody present to observe a moment of silence in memory of those who lost their lives during this difficult time. I would also like to congratulate the following councillors who celebrate their birthdays. August 11th, it was Councillor Ansaf Crombie. I hope you enjoy the day with your family, friends and colleagues. We wish you all the blessing for the year and the road ahead. The minute of silence will be when the mayor is doing her statement and communications. Appreciation to every woman on this special Women's Month. I salute every frontline female worker who had to leave their families behind to serve their communities. Many of these frontline workers' families have been orphaned, but I believe it did not go unnoticed. I trust that God will carry and comfort these various families in this difficult time. I also believe it should not only be the month of August, Women's Month, but 365 days of the year, Humanity Days. Thank you to all the Cape Wineland District Municipality female workers for their hard work and always giving your best. We appreciate each and every one of you. I did talk to the declaration forms. Councillors, please, again, I reiterate that the Mayor's office, my office, and Ms. Smith's office must have that. Councillors, last but not least, I would really like to reiterate, please be safe, follow the necessary precautions, wash your hands more often, wear your mask, and stay safe. We are all at risk, and no one is immune against the coronavirus. We as leaders in community, we have to lead by example. I thank you. Then we move on to point number 6, statement and communication by the Executive Mayor. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to first greet everybody, all the councillors present today. Good morning to all councillors. A very good morning to you. Good morning to all our administration, our municipal manager, our EDs and our managers and all the other officials present today. And also, Speaker, to you in particular, thank you very much for being with us today. I know that you also have a difficult time, but good morning to everybody. In my comments today, I'm going to read it, but I also would like to here and there add something else or something more. So I'm going to start with a very brief update on our hotspot status. As we all know, Cape Winelands is still a hotspot for the COVID-19 virus. But what I would like to share with you today is the numbers of COVID-19 positive cases are steadily and slowly, very slowly coming down. However, it is still no time to let our vigilance fall. This is the most dangerous time for the virus now. We're all moving into alert level 2. We might just slip here and there, and that is when the virus enjoys the life the most. So please do not let your vigilance fall. We still need to try to contain the spread to prevent a possible second and third outbreak. The medical team, they look into the mid of November for a possible second outbreak. Let us prove them wrong. Let us please keep on adhering to regulations and hygienic rules. It was already mentioned by the speaker. Wear a mask, sanitize your hands, do social distancing, avoid meetings of more than 50 people, work from home if possible, especially the vulnerable people, protect the elderly and people with comorbidities, and also do not move around unnecessarily. I call on all councillors to please try and motivate learners to go back to school, especially our grade 12s. The Cape Winelands District Education Department, or the area, contributes the biggest number of matriculants outside of the city of Cape Town. Can you move up, please, Karina? And it will become more difficult for learners to return to school once they have lost connection with their friends and with the schools. The matriculants will soon start to write their final exams for this year, so it's of utmost importance that they are properly prepared to write the exams. The Education Department of the Cape Winelands District confirmed by statistics that learners are really safer in schools as opposed to loitering in the streets. And I would like to say the Cape Winelands District have also now joined with the Education Department through our communication section, Ms. Joanne Otto and her team, and we're working very hard on a campaign, a social media campaign, also with posters and other things that they do to motivate especially grade 12s to come back. We cannot have this year just wasted, going down as a wasted one. So these are the two facts that I would like to share with you on the hotspot, and for more information and more detailed information, the municipal manager will just now table the progress report. Then secondly, the very sensitive matter, the declaration of interest by councillors. I thank all councillors who have indeed completed their declaration of interest forms and have submitted it. And I also have the names in front of me. However, there are still several councillors who have not done so as yet. I must appeal to you all, please do so as soon as possible. The reason for this is in terms of our audit expectations. It is really a provision from the auditor. So should you not adhere to this request, I will be forced to address the relevant individual councillors per written letter, where I will spell out the consequences should you not comply. And councillors, really, I do not want to go there. We're all adults. We know what is expected of us. Please, as soon as possible, please submit your completed forms in this regard. I thank you already for that. Number 3, I would like to say something on the newly elected Speaker of the Langeberg Municipality. On behalf of all our council members, I convey our congratulations to Councillor Pauline Hess, the newly elected Speaker of Langeberg Municipality. She was one of us for nearly 5 years, and our best wishes go with her. Councillor Pauline Hess, she has already resigned and she's no longer with us. Then number 4, the Speaker also referred to this, but it is about August, the Women's Month. August is Women's Month, and we celebrate all women in our communities. I thank all councillors for attending to Women Matters this month. Whether you have organised a lunch, a high tea, or handed out food parcels, we all celebrated the contribution women have made and are still making on a daily basis to change people's lives. I also wish all our lady councillors a blessed month of August. Look after yourselves and your families, and please stay safe. Number 5, I would also like to speak a little bit on GBV and F, gender-based violence and femicide. We all know femicide is the deliberate murder of women. Unfortunately, whilst we are celebrating Women's Month, our women and girl children are still suffering due to gender-based violence and femicide. We've had some very, very can I say, very upsetting events in the past month, not only in our area, but also in the Western Cape and also in the whole of our country. This municipality has several programs in place to combat GBVF, but as we all know, our implementation was parked due to COVID-19. It will come online as soon as possible, and our staff are also applying their minds how they can possibly, in another way, in a out-of-the-box way, in a more effective way, still render the services where possible. From my observations, our rural women are still suffering since the resources are not that easily accessible in the rural areas. We are working on that matter and will appreciate councillors' input in this regard in our IDP process. It is really necessary. It's also under the attention of our Minister of Social Development in the Western Cape, and we need information. We need also advice how you see we can open up resources in the rural areas in a more sustainable way for our rural people. We must, however, be mindful that males and sons are also at risk for violence, and we need to address the rate of violence in our whole area. It's not only women and girl children, it's also males and male sons. The hotspot approach was successfully implemented in dealing with COVID-19, and going forward, we also will address the GBVF matter in the same manner. Lastly, Madam Speaker, we all spare our prayers and for those in our district who have lost their lives and livelihoods, not only to COVID-19, but also to other health or tragic incidences. Yesterday, the day before, we lost Councillor Hita Manganengeni from Langeberg. That was due to kidney failure. We have lost a group of 10 persons from our Witzenberg area in a tragic fire incident. We had several fatal motor vehicle accidents in our area. We had fire incidents where people tragically lost their homes and everything they have owned. And that is really, if we consider that in this municipality and in this area of the Cape Winelands, we have a population of just under 1 million people. But every life that we lose is one life too many. And in most of these instances, it is tragic instances. It's tragic. It's fires, it's accidents, it's violence. It's not due to normal illnesses. So may our prayers carry our fellow citizens of the Cape Winelands. Madam Speaker, I thank you and stay safe.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can we have now a minute of silence, please, councillors? Thank you, councillors. Then we can continue to point number 7, 8, and 9. Consideration of notice of motions, consideration of notice of questions, consideration of motions of urgency, none that I know of. I don't know if the MM maybe know of something.
None, Madam Speaker. I haven't received any.
Thank you. Then we will move on to the minutes 10.1. It's attached. Confirmation of the minutes of the council meeting held on Thursday, 30 July 2020.
Speaker, we confirm the minutes of the 30th July 2020 as read, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there a second?
Looking here for second minutes.
Thank you. Then we move on to 10.2, report by the municipal manager, action minutes of the council meeting held on Thursday, 30 July 2020.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All matters attended to.
Thank you, Mr. MM. Then we are on C11, interviews with or presentations by deputations? None that I know of. You know anything about one, Mr. MM?
No, Madam Speaker, but for the COVID-19, if I can do my report here perhaps, or where would you like me to do the report?
Karina, can you just go up? Up. There you are. Okay. Mr.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I will do. Yes, I will do the presentation here at C11, C11.1, if you allow me.
Yes, that's correct. You may continue. We are now on C11.1.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, councillors. Good morning from my side. Councillors, you have received, as part of the agenda, you have received a presentation and the focus of that presentation is on humanitarian relief during the period of COVID. You will note that the date of the presentation is as at 14th of August. So I take that presentation as being read, and you are welcome to submit questions of clarity. Our colleague, Mr. P.T. Williams, he would lead us in responding to that. Secondly, just an update on the current situation within the Cape Winelands District Municipality regarding COVID-19. We still have the disaster declaration, and we are currently at the risk-adjusted alert level 2, as promulgated by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The current situation within the Cape Winelands, and I'm not going to give all the figures because you receive the situation report on a regular basis with the updated figures. Suffice to say, currently the recovery rate for Cape Winelands District Municipality stands at 91.6%, 91.6%, and then also, Madam Speaker, councillors, if you compare that to the Western Cape recovery rate is 91.7%, and the South African recovery rate currently sits at 83%. If we look at the death rate for the Cape Winelands, and sadly we have lost lives in this, but the Cape Winelands death rate sits at currently stands at 3.4%. The Western Cape is at 3.7%, while South Africa rate is at 2.1%. If one compare with a municipality like the Garden Route municipality, their recovery rate currently sits at 86%, and their death rate at 3.2%. The international death rate currently stands at 3.4%. Just to give some perspective to where we're at, there is a definite flattening and a reduction in the infection rate in the Cape Winelands, in the Western Cape, but also in South Africa. So we've got a definite flattening and a reduction of the curve. In case of Cape Winelands, when it comes to the occupation at quarantine and isolation sites, we are currently having the occupation rate is at just under 10% of the available beds and bed capacity within the Cape Winelands. So we are continuing our campaigns, particularly regarding the protocols and the good behavior in terms of COVID-19 good practice and how to slow the spread coming in COVID-19 or of COVID-19. Our biggest challenge still is regarding civil compliance and attending to the wearing of masks, keeping social distance. But as I say, we are continuing our campaign via communications, but also we we rely on partners, other stakeholders to assist us, the faith-based community, NGOs, and we also work with the agricultural sector due to the large contribution of agriculture within our district. Focus also is firmly and shifting towards economic recovery, and how do we assist business and the environment of business to bounce back and to bounce back sooner rather than later, in order to minimize and mitigate the devastating effects to the economy of the Cape Towners. And there are various initiatives in all of the local municipalities, but also from a provincial level. We also have Westgrow involved in this, and the Department of Economic Development and Tourism, as well as Casidra in the district and in the province. And then coming to our own institution, I think it's important to note that Cape Winelands District Municipality as an organization, we've had 12 officials being infected. We have had currently to date 4 councillors. Sadly, we have lost a colleague, one person that has succumbed to COVID-19. And then also currently we have 2 active cases, which is in isolation. And then we've had 1 employee who is a close contact, who is currently in quarantine. Further to this, we are adhering to all the regulations and the directives of the Department of Labour in terms of the occupational health and safety, ensuring a safe and healthy environment for our employees. And we are at full capacity and fully operational in our within the administration and the operations of the municipality. So, Madam Speaker, at this stage, I would like to pause at this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. MM. I think I talk for the whole of the council if I say thank you to you and your admin staff for what you did. Every second day we receive on Cape Winelands District Council, we receive information about COVID-19. And I'm going to ask the Mayor if she wants to add or comment something about that. Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Municipal Manager and his team. I realize that they're working very hard, and I would like to share with the councillors that there is something now like donor fatigue, virtual fatigue. You know, this is now just over 5 months of very intensive work under very stressful conditions. So thank you, MM, for what you and your team is putting in. We really appreciate that. I'm sorry, Madam Speaker, I can just add that the MM, perhaps in the next council meeting, he can perhaps share the different streams in which the hotspot strategy is been rolling out. But one stream that I would like to add today is the stream of economic development and economic recovery. We are working very hard with the DDAT, Provincial Office for Economic Opportunities, to compile and to work out our new economic recovery plan, because we have a lot of work in that instance to again revive our economy in our district. We are very glad and very thankful for the lift of the ban on alcohol sales and also on tobacco sales. Although tobacco is not directly involved in Cape Winelands, it also impacts on people's households and people's incomes. But for the lift of the ban of alcohol sales, people can go back to work. Many of our wine estates will not reopen, not soon. So it is still a huge crisis in our area. but we are very thankful for that and for the hard work in that respect. And I've already mentioned, Madam Speaker, about the learners that we was please motivate to go back to school. All our councillors can read for themselves on internet, and all the reports that we receive is to say that the children are really safer in school than otherwise. It seems that children under the age of 18 are really not that susceptible to the virus. Just make very sure that they do not perhaps carry these viruses into your home. Adhere to the safety regulations. Take off the shoes before they enter the house. But please, we have to lift our heads now, and we have to learn to live with a new normal. That's all that I would like to add. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Then we move on. Councillor Snyders, I see you asked somebody something, but unfortunately, I'm not going to allow you to speak to that or go back to it because it is in our agenda pack. So you will see it later on. So we move then on to C12, urgent matters submitted by the municipal manager. Mr. MM?
None, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Then C13, a report by the Executive Mayor, Mayoral Committee held on Tuesday, 7 July.
The minutes were distributed, Madam Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. Then we go on to matters for notification. That is 14.1, the monthly progress report on municipal minimum competency levels, July 2020. That is for the MM. Mr.
Thank you,
MM?
Madam Speaker. Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm here.
You want to say something on that? That is
Madam
only for
Speaker.
notification.
Correct, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Then we go on to 14.2, status of the draft, and I'm going to ask the portfolio holder, that's Councillor Niehaus. Would you say something or add something to that, Councillor Niehaus?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. In terms of the Disaster Management Act, we do have a duty and a function to work towards the prevention, the mitigation and the coordination efforts in our response in the case of a drought. In the status report before Council today, we want to share with the Council the rainfall as in July 2020, as per the key rainfall station at the following dams: the Voorvlei Dam, the Wemmershoek Dam, the Dwarsberg Dam, the Two Waters Kloof Dam. On page 5 of the report, Council will have insight into the comparison of the rainfall figure as on 27 July 20. The report also highlights the seasonal forests for the months of August to December this year. From page 7 to page 10, Council will see a comparison of the dam levels for the past 5 years of the following dams: the Cape Town System Dam, the Brandvlei Dam, the Steinskloof Dam, the Cwdm Dam. In conclusion, Council, we see what is the current water restriction in each of our B municipality, and that we will work closely with our B municipality regarding the very important resource. Before I end, in this month also tonight, big rainfall will come until Saturday, so we can thank God for all the rain that we have. And if we can look back a year back where our dam levels was, we were struggling to get water tanks and for people driving water together. So from me, I want to thank God for the rain and for the better lives for the people outside. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Niehaus. I would ask the MM, would you like to comment or add something to that? Mr. MM, would you like to comment or add something? Or can we move on?
We can move on, Madam Speaker. Just to note that the drought has officially, the disaster has officially been revoked, the disaster declaration. However, we will continue to report on our dam levels in future. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. MM. We really appreciate that. Then 14.3, the draft annual report of the Cape Winelands District Municipality for 2019. 2020, Maya.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This, can I say, gigantic report was also part of our package for this meeting. The draft annual report is here today for notification by councillors. After today, the report will go out for public input. So I would just note the report, and then yes, that we then send this out for public input. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Then we continue and we conclude with matters for notification. We move on now to matters for consideration. We are now on 15.1. Draft Cape Winelands District Municipality IDP budget. And I'm going to ask Councillor Du Plessis.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm here. Good day. Thank you for the opportunity. We are at 15.1 on the agenda, and it concerns then the draft budget time schedule for the IDP budget, both for the IDP process, the performance management system, and then the medium-term revenue and expenditure frameworks, our MITREF. And as we know, the budget and the IDP process are linked to one another, and in the process we need a properly planned program to make sure that and to allow for the integration of the process. It's important that we get these matters aligned in the program, and it consists in the program, this draft program, from July of this year, when it already started, until June next year. I must, through you, Madam Speaker, compliment the Mayor, not the Mayor, the Municipal Manager and his team, who has been involved in drafting this program, this very well integrated program, and for the execution then of these processes. And I then move with consideration of inputs that could come from the floor, that we accept then the draft program as it is before us. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillors, this is a draft. Can we accept it? That it can go out for public participation? Everybody. Sorry?
My hand is raised.
Your hand is raised. Okay. Councillor?
Thank you very much, Speaker, and apologies for not being able to connect earlier because of the audio challenge. I took note of what you said regarding the 500 rand issue, and that will be dealt with at a later stage. My concern is that to be honest, I didn't read this draft IDP budget time schedules and IDP budget, all those things. But I just want to know from the portfolio if the COVID-19 challenges has been attended to within that process, that IDP process, because we all know that COVID-19 is going to take much of the budget during this time. So I just want to know if that is addressed within the IDP documents as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Wilskut, your hand is up. Councillor Wilskut? Councillor Wilskut? It seems to me. Are you there, Councillor?
Yes, Speaker, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Councillor.
Speaker, I'm sorry to take you back for a minute. I'm just struggling, not knowing what will be. I finally see the little hand here, and I clicked on it. Just a question on the previous item, where it's just for my clear understanding, the draft annual report, will it be submitted to MPEC in terms of scrutiny through MPEC on the same process, or is it just because it's not mentioned in the recommendations like that? I just want to clear it on that way for myself.
Thank you for
Thank
that,
you.
Councillor.
May I respond, Madam
Yes,
Speaker?
you may respond, Mr. MM.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Wilskut. Councillor Wilskut, no, yes, it's not mentioned. It was in the item itself, but in terms of the legislation applicable, it will follow due process, and impact would certainly be able to peruse and to interrogate the report. But as I said, you will see note the draft, and it is still needs to be part of our full audit process as well. So impact will certainly get the turn to. I must also just perhaps, Councillor, say at this stage that due to COVID-19, the National Treasury has issued exemption, and also the Auditor General, that all processes are moved on by 2 months. So instead of our normal processes completed in terms of audit end of November, they should only be concluded in end of February next year. But certainly your question, impact, as always, will be part of the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MM. Councillors?
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Wilskut.
Speaker, on clarity hand again, noted the municipal manager's response on it. My question again is, isn't council obliged then to send the particular draft document, including with the possible comments of your public, to MPEC as in part of the procedures? And isn't it then obligatory for us then to put it as a council, sending it then to MPEC on the particular processes as mentioned by the MA?
Thank you, Councillor. May I speak in, please?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. Councillor Wilskut, certainly. In terms of the legislation, the draft should only be presented to Council normally by 7 months after the finalization of the financial year. So that is the 7 months would then take us to end of January normally. With the 2-month extension, it will take us now to end of March. However, what we are presenting today is just the very first draft as part of our AFS submission to the AG, which will still be undergoing those processes of audit, and then we will submit to the impact as part of the processes by the normal legislative due dates, Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MM. Councillor, I assume you are covered now.
I'm covered, Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillors?
I'm not covered, Speaker. I didn't get an answer. Speaker, I didn't get an answer from my speaker. Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, I heard you very loud and clear. What was your question?
My question was regarding the IDP. If the IDP is in line with the COVID-19 expenditure that we must the COVID-19 expenditure budget for the fourth generation integration. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. MM, will you answer that? I know you answered that last month as well.
Thank you, Councillor Snyder. Councillor Snyder, yes, certainly. I think what we must first look at now is what we've presented to you today is the process plan and the activity plan for developing the IDP review process for the next financial year. So as part of it, certainly as part of the public participation process, we are firstly ensuring that we do follow protocols, and it brings new challenges, if I may call it that, in terms of how we deal with the public as we would normally do with our public participation process. And we need to have some innovation around that. Your question regarding COVID-19, whether we did that as part of our budget processes after we have approved the draft budget, and then we had the COVID-19. We then reviewed the budget and the last budget that we approved for the 2021 financial year in May included then the COVID-19 pandemic and the response to that. So yes, to answer your question, you have approved a budget that is COVID-19 or responding to COVID-19 challenges.
Councillor, thank you, Mr. MM. Councillor Wilskut, I see you've got another question. Councillor Wilskut? Councillor Wilskut?
Yes, Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Speaker, thank you very much for this opportunity again. Concerning the COVID, in a very beautiful report from the administrator at the municipal manager side, the question is, isn't the municipal manager also obliged in terms of the spending of the particular COVID fund to inform council? My question is, when will that happen, Speaker? Isn't it? But it wasn't part today of that particular report. But my question is, when will the municipal manager then give back feedback to council on the spending part concerning the COVID?
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. MM, will you answer on that?
Speaker, a point of order.
What is your point of order, Councillor Blom?
Speaker, I please want to request you that we are on point 15.1.
Yes.
And point 15.1 is the approval of the time schedule. We are now busy for the last 10 minutes with the previous points. So I please ask you to rule to return to 15.1 to approve the IDP budget time schedule. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blom. Then Councillor Wilskut. We are on point 15.1.
Speaker.
Councillor, I'm talking. You wasn't here last month, but I think each month the municipal manager did submit and talk about the revised budget as gevolg van COVID, due to COVID. So I'm asking councillors, I think Councillor Boy and Alderman Steerman, they were here and they were said that it's fine with them. So I want to ask the councillors, please councillors, let we go to 15.1 and let we move on. Please, councillors.
Speaker.
Councillor Wilskut, I did make myself clear.
Quite clear, Speaker.
I'm not going to allow the MM or anyone or a councillor to go back and talk on something that's not on 15.1.
Speaker, I understood. We're experiencing a little bit of difficulty as the item goes on by clicking, and it's my first time logging on, as you know yourself. So I've experienced a little bit of difficulty. So I'm a little bit not in front of the agenda itself. But I understood, and I will bear with your reasoning on it. The only thing is, the reason why I'm a little bit late with my questions because I couldn't understand the system a little bit, and I'm still struggling a bit to know how does it work in that type of things. But it's fine with me. It's fine. It's okay.
Thank you, Councillor Wilskut. Councillor Neus, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. If there's 15.1 is not second yet, I want to second that proposal.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor. So that's acceptable. Anonymously. Then we can go on to 15.2. And I'm gonna ask Councillor Palesa, will you take us through to 15.2? And I'm gonna ask Councillor Klaas to listen very clearly here, because I think this is the point that you want us to go back to. Here's it now on the screen. Councillor Palesa.
Dankie Speaker, môre Speaker, môre collega's. 15.2, we served this point on our last council meeting. The purpose of submissions that council consider to approve standard guidelines for bereavement expenditure related to deceased councillors. I'll give a little background. In order to ensure a consistent approach towards expenditure in respect of deceased councillors' family during a time of bereavement, it is necessary that standard guidelines be considered to provide a uniform framework for cost management. An amount of 4,500 rands of a total appropriation amount of 5,000 rand in respect of plants, flowers, and other decorations is available on the 2020-2021 annual budget. The recommendation by municipal managers that council consider to approve the following standard guidelines for bereavement expenditure related to the deceased councillors. A, the family of a deceased councillor who was a councillor on the governing council of the Cape Winelands District Municipality be provided with either a wreath, flower, and through you, Speaker, I would like to ask administration to change the word food parcel to edible provision. Then it will read, be provided with either a wreath, flowers, food parcel, a wreath, flowers, or edible provision of a maximum value of 500 rands. That B, the family of the deceased executive mayor, deputy executive mayor, or speaker of any of the 5 local municipalities who was a councillor on the governing council of the applicable local municipality be provided with either a wreath, flower, or edible provisions to a maximum value of 500 rands. This item was serving before council. We actually just need a guideline for us. It is not Cape Winelands assisting with a funeral. It's only for us when we go to pay our last respect to show it's just a sign of appreciation for the relationship that we have with the deceased councillor's family or the family of the councillor. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker?
Speaker, my hand is raised.
Hand raised.
Yes.
Yes, you may continue, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We are in agreement with the 500 rand for everyone, not extra for certain people. We are in agreement with the 500 rand for everyone. But I just want to differ with Councillor Palesa on one thing, and that thing is the edible thing. Maybe we must put in the social assistance rather than edible something. No, social assistance is broad. That includes edible things and food parcels and all those kind of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Ahmad, are you covered? Your hand was up. David?
No, Speaker, my hands wasn't up. Myself is covered. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Can we then continue? We accept it.
Speaker, can I second the proposal of Councillor
Palesa?
Palesa, yeah, please.
Thank you, Deputy.
Speaker, what about the edible thing? Speaker, what about the edible thing?
Councillor Palesa?
Speaker?
Can you perhaps explain it to the councillor again?
Wat ek bedoel, dankie speaker, deur u speaker, wat ek bedoel met edible provision. Dit kan 'n platte wees. Food parcel is so breed. Dis hoekom ek voorstel dat ons die food parcel weghaal, want hy het verskillende verduidelikings. Die platte is 'n beter opsie. Dis hoekom ons nou daar gaan
Speaker,
sit edible provision.
Speaker,
English, Councillor.
Jammer, verskoning.
Speaker.
Yes, Councillor Boy.
It's very sad to hear to Pallister attend to Africans while he's an African, and he knows that we are disadvantaged in Africans. Pallister, come on. As we are Africans, man, all of we don't know.
Councillors.
Right.
Councillor,
Madam Speaker, I'm terribly sorry that I changed to Afrikaans. What I was trying to explain is that the mere fact that I requested for the word food parcel to be changed to edible provision, I'm referring actually to a platter or otherwise, because food parcel is a broad word. It can be explained in many, it can be taken in many contexts. So that is why I just thought, let's rather go for edible provision. That was my explanation, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Palesa.
Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Snyders, I hope you understand now.
Yes, I do understand, Speaker.
There was already a seconder on that. So can we move forward?
Speaker, can you allow me, please? I want to explain the reason why I'm saying social assistance. The fact is that our people are being seen as beggars. We as EFF don't want to see that the councillor or the employee of the Cwdm is being seen as a beggar because of edible provision. We are begging them for food. It's not that. That is the thing that I'm talking about. That's why I said social assistance is a better thing. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, councillors. Can then move on because we already had a seconder on that. Then we are on 15.4. That's a draft anti-corruption and fraud prevention policy for the Cape Winelands District Municipality. Palesa.
Madam Speaker, we skipped 15.3 now.
Sorry, it's my fault. Sorry, I'll come back. 15.3, it's Cape Wineland District Municipality, draft impact work plan for the 2020-21 financial year. And I'm going to ask the chairperson, that's Boy. Would you like to add something, a comment or say something about it? Councillor? Councillor? Where's the chairperson of Impact? Is the chairperson not available? Then I'm going to ask Councillor De Toit, you are also part of Impact.
Thank you, Speaker. Yes, it's just a normal work plan for the future oversight report that will be tabled and the impact meetings. Same thing, exactly something like last year.
Okay, thank you.
Then Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Yes.
I'm not sure. Are you covered? I was just breaking off. Are you covered by Madam Titoy?
Yes, I'm covered with her.
Okay, I get lost from my network. Okay, it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Can we then move on?
Speaker, my hand is raised.
Yes, you can continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Speaker. We must take into account that impact is a very, very important committee of council. MPEC is the one that is detecting corruption, is detecting everything, detecting irregularities and everything like that. My submission is that MPEC must on every council meeting, this must be a standing agenda item from MPEC. That MPEC come and report to council, but there's nothing that's going on, or there's this and this and this going on. And I hope that forms part of the work plan of MPEC for this financial year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Madam Mayor?
Yes, Speaker, we still need a seconder for the proposal by Councillor De Tooy.
I second the item, Speaker.
Thank you. Council. Colin Wilskut. Councillor Wilskut.
Speaker, yeah. No, Speaker, it's fine. I'm covered. I was just worried because normally MPEC got his mandate from council and also his items from council. So
Okay.
if we have to come on a regular basis having forwarded council with information, it means we will be possibly out of our own mandate and possibly out of our own terms of reference set by council.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Can we then move on now? We are now on 15.4. Councillor Palesa.
Yes, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. 15.4, it's the draft anti-corruption and fraud prevention policy for the Cape Winelands District Municipality. Purpose of this submission is that Council consider to adopt the draft Cape Winelands District Municipality anti-corruption and fraud prevention policy. This draft policy has served in front of our fraud and risk committee and also in front of our external audit committee of council. They have approved and recommended to bring it to council for adoption, for approval. Ek is nog op die vloer, Speaker, ek gaan nou klaarmaak.
Yes, no, that's fine.
I'll just do a highlight on the on page 1111. Sorry, on page 311, in terms of part 2 of policy 1.01, the Cape Winelands District Municipality System of Delegation adopted by Council at item C 4.12 of 15 June 2011. Council has delegated the power to submit policies to Council for adoption to the Executive Mayor. And I would like to recommend, where's the recommendation now? I would like to recommend that Council consider to adopt the draft Cape Winelands District Municipality Anti-Corruption and Fraud Prevention Policy. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor, your hand is up.
Thank you very much, Speaker. We don't have a problem with the policy on graft and stealing. We don't have a problem with that. We have a problem with there's a procurement bill that is currently on its way to the President for signature. Our question is this draft policy in line with this procurement bill or procurement things? Isn't it best maybe to wait until this bill comes into power or signed by the President, and then we can approve and compare. We can compare and then approve the very same draft policy. I'm just afraid that maybe the draft policy of us will be different. It will be different from that very same bill, and then we are not adhering to legislation as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor.
Speaker,
Yes.
My PC doesn't
Councillor
allow me
Steerman.
to. My PC doesn't allow me to put up a hand, so I don't know. Sometimes it shows a hand, sometimes not. It's only a little bit of semantics. If you look at what the policy is saying, that the mayor must present to council, and obviously, Councillor Palesa is not the mayor. So maybe we must just do things the right way. My opinion is it should not have been dealt with a report by the mayor itself, sent to the mayor and the mayor representing it, or Councillor Palesa have said after discussing it at the mayoral committee, I'm now presented on behalf of the mayor. Just semantics that we do things right. That's my point.
Thank you, Councillor Alderman Steerman. Madam Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. It is actually me presenting the item because Councillor Palesa is my portfolio holder for this item for human resources. So this is actually me speaking. She's speaking on my behalf. So we can see this. It is only a semantic thing. It is actually me speaking. And I would like, when you have done with all the questions, that I would like to second Councillor Palesa's tabling of our item. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Councillors.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
Madam
Can
Speaker.
we
Madam
yes?
Speaker. May
Yes.
I recommend that after what Councillor Alderman Schiemann has alluded to, perhaps that Mayor should rather just formally propose and Councillor Palesa can then second, please.
Mayor.
I will do so gladly, Madam Speaker. I propose that Council consider to adopt the draft Cape Winelands District Municipality Anti-Corruption and Fraud Prevention Policy now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam Speaker.
Yes. You may
Councillor Palesa,
continue.
Speaker. I, Councillor Ramogabi, would like to second the proposal of the Mayor. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor, your hand is still up.
Yes, thanks. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The seconding of this thing has already been done. We are not going. We just want to state that we will abstain from approving this adoption of, because of the fact that it can be in contravention with the procurement, the new procurement law. That is not nothing else. Only because of the possible contravention of the new procurement law. Thank you very much.
Madam Speaker, may I just respond to Councillor Snyders? And sorry for not responding the first time, Councillor Snyders, if I may.
You may.
Thank you. Councillor Snyders, certainly we take note of what you're saying, but as you rightly say, it is still a bill. It still needs to go through the process, parliamentary processes to be an act of Parliament, and then also for the President to assent to it by signing it into law. So my recommendation to Council would be to accept currently as is. However, whenever we do have changes in law, and it is of significance, we will certainly review as the administration and submit to Council a reviewed policy whenever that is necessary, Councillor Snyders, to perhaps put you at ease or give you some comfort. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MM. Councillor Snyders, are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I understand that, Speaker. The review part, let's stop there. I understand that. Thank you very much.
Okay, is that anonymously we accept it as it is now?
Fine, Speaker.
Okay, so can we move on then? We are now at 15.5. That is draft risk management policy strategy and implementation. Councillor Palesa.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the purpose of this submission is that Council consider to adopt the draft risk management policy strategy and Implementation Plan for the Cape Winelands District Municipality. The Cape Winelands District Municipality is committed to effective risk management to achieve our vision, service delivery, and key strategic objectives to ensure appropriate outcomes for the community. The purpose of this risk management strategy is to support the implementation of the enterprise risk management. This strategy and implementation plan sets out all risk management activities planned for each financial year. This document also provides insight as to how the district municipality will implement the risk management going forward. The policy is based on national treasury guidelines and also national anti-corruption strategy. I would like to recommend to Council that Council consider to adopt the draft risk management policy, strategy and implementation plan for the Cape Winelands District Municipality. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Looking
Yes.
here.
Yes, Speaker. Thijs Blom, want to second.
Thank you, Councillor Blom. Yes, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I hope people are not getting tired of me. Yeah, the draft risk management policy, strategy and implementation plan for the Cape Winelands District. I'm coming to Banka now. We had a situation during the previous financial year of some monies that was irregularly spent, and we had investigations regarding that. Is that anomaly being addressed to be picked up earlier by the very same risk management desk of us? I understand, Madam Speaker, because the sooner things is being picked up, the better it will be addressed, and that is where the risk management is coming in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm going to ask the MM if
Thank
he
you.
would like to respond on that.
Thank you. And Councillor Snyders, it's part of oversight, so you may ask the questions. Councillor, colleagues, and councillors, no, from my side, can I just say that as part of our processes, certainly we have taken note of the previous events and incidences that you refer to, and that is part of our learning then, that we then have improved on controls, our internal controls, to pick up on such type of perhaps irregularities in future. So I can assure you that is how we improve our internal processes when we do become aware of certain perhaps certain weaknesses within our internal control system. So yes, I can assure you we have improved on that particular part. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. MM. You covered, Councillor.
Thank you very much, Speaker. I'm covered. Yeah. Thank you very much, MM.
Can we get the seconder for that?
Looking here, will second it.
Councillor Thijs Blom has seconded, Speaker, already.
No, Madam, we have seconded 15.4. We are now on 15.5. So, Lucky Neuhaus, he seconded that. So we are at the end of our ordinary meeting for today. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you, councillors. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, MM. I know you two are in the front liners of the Cape Winelands. But really, I've got a lot of respect for you. Thank you. We're going over now to our confidential meeting.